Hello, Holy One. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this space. Welcome to our beautiful being, the new human. And we are continuing our conversation about the understandings of you and your beautiful being in your human format as the consciousness of your eternalness. So your eternal consciousness, your being as that space of you that has always been and will always be, is having this experience individualized through the vantage point, perception, and understanding of this now space of you in order to expand itself and continue to grow its understanding. And there are many other spaces of this besides that individual expansion, growth, unfolding that are caveats, but beyond really that, they are additions that are profound in the understanding that not only are you here to expand your understanding of who you are as this divine consciousness in this now space, but in the unfolding of that are these experiential spaces in which you assist the other spaces of you, because all is one and all are source in different forms. So as you be you and expand you and heal you and love you and live your focus now, live your beautiful now life, your focus space, love the heck out of it. But as you do that, there are purposes, there are unfoldings, there are divine spaces of experience in which you are assisting another or assisting many others, and you're not here to save the world, Divine One. It has to start with you. It had to start with me before I could do all that I do here. It had to start with me. And then as we allow that unfolding of the individualized expansion, we were speaking of how that consciousness, that us, becomes alive in the now focus space, in the now life experience, in the now human version. That consciousness of us awakens, it becomes alive, and we become living water that any who drink from us will have the opportunity to awaken as well. And how would you drink from another? By witnessing them, by hearing them, by seeing them, by experiencing them being that higher vibration. They may teach, they may offer healing sessions, they may place their higher vibrational understandings and vibration inside of art or music, or the skill in which they utilize as their career as a teacher or a cashier or a barista or a doctor or whatever they are. In whatever space in which they are following their heart and they are living from their truth, they are emanating that living water. So we talked all about this last week and the week prior, and we dove deeper and deeper into the understanding of being that living water and how you flow through your life like a river, like water flows, yes? And how life is like that river. Sometimes you're going right over those beautiful pebbles at the bottom of the river and you're just flowing over them, taking in their beauty. And then at some places in the river of your life, there may be a boulder or two or three or four. And it's your choice. And you've probably experienced it in this way prior, where you get stuck by a boulder and you kind of create a pool of yourself just spinning, recycling that experience, that energy, those spaces. And we talked about how that water, when it becomes living, when it understands itself as consciousness in that form, it It doesn't have to spin when it hits those boulders or comes into those spaces. It doesn't have to cycle anymore because it has heard itself and it has received its own message, and it can now redirect itself and flow. We talked about how when it does so, it actually picks up strength and vibrance and force and power as it redirects. And it flows at an even purer, more powerful, empowered rate of itself. So I'd like you to keep all of that in mind as we take this one step further into the understanding of we as living water being creator beings. We as living water manifesting our lives. Once one aligns with, anchors into, understands, implements from, lives from itself as living water, itself as consciousness. Those are interchangeable terms. Living water, awakened consciousness. Living water, awakened consciousness. Once one understands itself as that, one is then inevitably going to create, design, align its life, its experiences from that space of being, from that space of vibration, from that space of alignment. Meaning everything that is then created by that being will come in at experientially in the outer world through relationships, jobs, health, abundance, wealth, whatever, freedom, peace. It will come in at that level of the creator as it created it. So I want you to allow yourself to anchor in the depth of what we're talking about. Really allowing yourself to own, live from that understanding of you. That when the creator, and this is not judgment in any way, this is information. If it feels like judgment, that's you sending you a message that some love can be given to that space that feels judged. But when an individual creates, and they create with every breath, every thought, every step, every moment of their being, they are creating. When an individual is in a creative mode, which is always, they create from the space of the vibration they are at. That is what self-mastery is all about. That is what Being the New Human classes have been all about for over 2 years. Giving you the power to remember who you are, to implement your creative abilities from a higher vantage point of view. Therefore, creating a higher vibrational life because you're living from higher vibrational understandings. One of my go-to lines that I wrote, I don't know, 2 years ago, was higher vibrational understandings create or birth higher vibrational realities. When you understand yourself as living water and you understand yourself as that flow state powerhouse, you are creating from that energy, from that vibration of you. If one, and here's the space one could feel judgment from, but again, if you do, it's you sending yourself a message. If one is creating from victimhood, everything always goes wrong for me. Why does everyone always treat me like crap? Why do I always get abusive men? Why can't I ever? Why am I not? Why did they do? Why didn't they? In a space of victimhood, you are creating that cycle to repeat itself in your life. When you come up a notch and maybe you leave victimhood and you're wobbling through being the new you, and you're having moments where you want to respond the way you always had, and maybe you do now and then, are you feeding that old alignment to be more prominent than the new one that you are using your self-mastery to anchor into? It all depends on how much focus you give it, how much faith you place behind whichever one you're giving the focus to. And remember, we talked about this last week in the last video for this understanding and teaching. Faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. Faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. So how much faith? The size of a mustard seed. You can have that much faith. We have been programmed to believe it is so hard, but it isn't. That's a program, that's a distortion, that's an illusion, that's a lie. Faith the size of a mustard seed in yourself, being able to drop the old cycles, the old go-tos, the old draining, suck you dry, cyclical, addictive behavior type spaces. Faith the size of a mustard seed to overcome that alignment and to believe you already are the other is available to everyone, no matter what you're seeing. It's not about what you're seeing. If you go by what you're seeing, you're going to keep getting what you're seeing. And see, that's what you've been taught to do. We've all been taught whatever it is, it is. We've all been taught it's an uphill battle, it's a big fight, it's a dark night of the soul. It's all very heavy, dense spaces, aren't they? But they don't have to be that which you hold as your truth. And when they are not what you hold as your truth, your outer world will reflect the flow state of the higher alignment you have chosen. Are you discounting your feelings? No, you're just being a self-master. You're not sitting in any cycles. You're not continuing to feed any energetically draining spaces of your life. You see the boulders in your river and you redirect. You flow more powerfully because you know who you are and you're not wavered. The boulders don't make you feel like you're less. And boulders can be judgment from others. They can be someone not believing what you believe and saying you're crazy or saying you're stupid or saying you're not powerful enough or saying whatever they're saying. They do not have to be your truth. They are available to you if that's the alignment you are still in. And you can cycle right in front of it as long as you need to until you're ready to redirect around that boulder and flow like the powerful water, the powerful being you are. Living water creates a life reflective of itself, just as dead water creates a life reflective of itself. And dead water would be unawakened consciousness. Living water is infused by the divinity of source because it has remembered itself as source. The degree at which your life reflects that you are living from the space of yourself, of living water, of that empowerment and understanding of who you are, the degree in which your life, your experiences, your relationships, your health, your body, your emotions reflect that to you, will be in accordance with, or in balance with, or in alignment with the way in which you have anchored your faith in you as that space of you. So the more that faith in you grows, that's why, how long have I told you to trust yourself? The more your faith grows in the understanding of how powerful you are and how divine you are and how aligned with source as source in human form you are, then the more that will be reflected in your outer world. Creating from the space of understanding yourself as living water is creating your outer world and your emotions, your inner thoughts. It's all connected. It is a creator who comes from its source space. And it understands itself as the divine through the form. And that is reflected in every essence of its being, which is its creations as well. The creations of you are a part of you. They are an energetic extension of you, of me. PowerPoint for you. You want a tool to pull out of your pocket in all experiences and in all spaces? I'll give you some PowerPoints. When the outer seems to tell you who you are, and it is not who you feel you are, believe you are, or want to be, listen to your heart. Remember who you are. Tell yourself who you are with love. We talked about this before in some other class I've done recently. I talk to myself. If I need to, I say, well, most of the time, this is what I say. You are so beautiful. I sometimes throw in some edgy words because I'm getting really, I like to get a little, I like to amp up it a little bit, you know? So I might say, you are so freaking beautiful. And I mean in every way. I love myself. I love everything I have done to be the one I am. I love every single space. I feel my source space, the space of myself in my divine wholeness. I feel that flowing through me completely into me and loving me. That's who loves me. So many people struggle with saying I love you to themselves and meaning it. There's this really big mirror exercise work. Years and years ago, it was really popular. It may still be for some. And it was this whole thing of looking in the mirror in your own eyes, you know. I think I even offered it here and there to people. And telling yourself you love you, you know, I love you to your own self, right? And so many people struggle with saying I love you, but that is mostly because they are coming from separation. They feel very alone and battered and beaten and tired and exhausted mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically. They feel lost, they feel unheard. They probably have a lot of physical things going on, mental things going on because of that, you know, so they're really bombarded. And they're trying to say, I love you from that space. And they're feeling like, what here do I love? When you are coming from living water, when you are alive in your understanding of who you are and your wholeness, completely within your nowness, when you understand yourself without any separation or divide, because you have leaned in, because you have trusted yourself, because you have allowed you, because you've listened to your heart more than your head, and because you have focused your energy, focused your attention, redirected that energy as many times as needed with love. Maybe sometimes with a little angst, but still grateful for the power that you held to redirect, to hold on, to be true to that which you had faith in. That space of you is your living water. That space of you is your ever expanding, flowing consciousness. That space of you is your source space. That space of you is God space. That space is goddess space. That is a space of you that is not separate from you. And when you lean in, and when you allow, and when you give focus to it, whatever you focus on will expand. I've told everyone that from day one. If you focus on how much your family drives you crazy, they're one more experience after another of how they'll drive you crazy. If you focus on how much you hate your job, one more experience after another of why you hate your job. If you focus on the fact that you don't have enough money, one more experience after another to show you why you have no money, or the life of having no money. And the list goes on and on. Whatever you focus on expands. That's why I tell you, one of the greatest tools you can place in your own pocket on self-expansion, on higher consciousness, on living your best life now, on being a manifester that creates abundance in all areas of your own life, the very best tool you've got is your imagination and focus. This is a really big space with the living water that I need to convey to you. When you live from living water, you live from quantum being. Quantum being is always now. Quantum being is the understanding that the you were a year ago, the you were in your mother's womb, the you were in a previous life, the you are right now, the you will be next week, the you will be in 20 years, all of those yous are right now happening. That is a quantum understanding of yourself. The energy vibration in each one of those spaces of you is vibrating, emanating, existing, being. Living water understands its ability to connect into that knowing and live from the vibrational space of itself, where it's flowing over those beautiful pebbles below it. They're shimmering in beautiful colors, and the sun is shining, and it's experiencing a beautiful flow state. It knows that space of it is existing now in some space of itself. And living water at any space of itself has the ability to apply focus to that space. Imagine that space. Even if it's not in the now space, it's in some space of you. You've done it. It's done. There's a you are here where that is you, and you are there. Allowing yourself to lean into that, whether in meditation, energy session spaces, or every day walking around with your eyes open, going to get the mail, going to the grocery store, dropping the kids off at school, going to work, getting on a Zoom call, whatever your world is. Imagining and coming from and sensing and feeling. Feeling, emotions are power, they're energy in motion. Imagining, leaning in, feeling, and coming from that space of yourself that you know is, expands that vibration in the now, wherever the focus space of you is when it's feeling it and seeing it and imagining it. Does it amplify and extend out to other spaces of you? Yes, because you're one continuous energetic signature wave. So when more of your being is living from this living water higher consciousness, more of your being is experiencing this heaven within. The kingdom of heaven is within. The understanding of you, it's within the power of you, it's within the imagination of you, it's within the feelings of you. Living water flows from this knowing. And when living water is in an altercation with a boulder, an argument with another, or a situation that doesn't necessarily reflect the kingdom of heaven is flowing, it's a message, it's a notification, it's an opportunity for you to say, I'm a master. I'm source in human form. How does source react if that experience, person, whatever shows up older? How does source react? How does God react? How does Jesus react? How does Buddha react? How does me and my highest version of me that already exists, how does me in 20 years developed these amazing understandings of itself react? You have a choice, and you could lean into how does me 10 years ago react? Direct. You're the one directing. Direct the focus, direct the faith. What is the faith in? What is the focus on? Living water flows in that knowing. Living water, you, creates, manifests, experiences from that knowing. Let's do a blessing. Let's do a blessing in this space as we prepare to close out this class. This blessing, I want you to do this with me right now. I want you to hold the intent, hold the focus, apply your imagination and your envisioning abilities, your feelings, please. If you want to really be powerful, utilize the human ability to feel. It is an asset. I want you to intend with me, imagine, feel. You as living water, directing, aligning, creating, designing, living, experiencing from the utmost highest joy of your being, your life. Your life is so precious, Holy One. Your life is so precious. I love you dearly, and I love the life you are. I'm honored to know you and walk with you, just as you are. And I am honored and grateful to witness you expand into all of the glorious spaces of you that you already are. Living water understands itself as already are. Just alive, just vibrant, just flowing. So allow yourself to hold that intent with me for a moment. Close your physical eyes. Allow your inner knowing to open. Allow yourself to see a third eye inside your own being. Allow yourself to see an alignment of golden light from your third eye to your physical eyes, right inside your own head. The third eye is open, and these lines of light coming down to your physical eyes, creating a golden triangle of light. The inner knowing becoming the sight of the now version. The inner knowing, the higher consciousness, the source space, the living water flowing through the now physical eyesight. That everything you see in your physical reality be seen through the vantage point of the source space within you, the living water within you that understands itself and sees itself from the space of that essence of source. Feel that in your being. Some of you are releasing really beautifully, really big things. Beautiful. You're just dropping these and transmuting these lower spaces of yourself to move into flow at a new level of flow for you. Breathe. Allow the space. Allow the space. Picture yourself as the flowing water that you are, vibrant, clear, moving through you, moving through your life, moving through all spaces of your quantum being, allowing love to flow, allowing you to be that ever expansive space of yourself that you already are. Breathe. Now I want you to picture, as we begin to close this exercise, I want you to picture a beautiful chalice, wooden chalice of water, crystal clear water. And the wooden chalice of water is in your hands, and it is holy and divine and beautiful. It is of the highest alignment of truth and remembrance, of never being separate from universe, from source, from God, from whatever space of that spiritual understanding is you in your heart. And I want you to lift, if you will, in your inner knowing, in your imagination, lift your hands holding that chalice, lift them up above your head. And when you are ready, you'll take a nice deep breath in, nice and slow. And on your exhale, you will pour that holy water upon your own head. And you will allow the water to run down your being. Blessing you in the sacred waters of remembrance and of love. Baptizing you in the sacred waters of remembrance and of love. Breathe. Blessing your root lines out your feet, root lines in your legs and at your root center at the pelvic, bottom of the torso. Blessing your crown as it expands gloriously. Blessing your sacred heart as it anchors its remembrance of the I Am. Blessing your field of love as it is your shield of love. Blessing peace and balance upon your thoughts, your mind, your throat. Connecting deeply your thoughts and your heart, the way you think, the way you feel, to run in coherent alignment with one another, to be amplified out by you as you in your glorious field, as you create from the understanding of yourself, as you visualize, imagine, and feel you as source in human form, you as love in human form, being the light that you are. Take a nice deep breath in, nice and slow. Exhale slowly. Beautiful, beautiful. And just allow yourself, when you're ready, to slowly bring your focus back to the physical eyes, to this now, this point of focus, this space. And as you open your physical eyes, when you're ready, you are making notation that your inner knowing, your third eye, sees through your physical eyes. Your source space sees through your now eyes. You give yourself a moment with that understanding and you will shift your entire world. Your source space sees through your physical eyes. Share your view with all of you, your wholeness, your God space, your goddess space, your soul space, universe. Share your view because you are one. As long as you choose to not separate yourself out. When it feels big and daunting and personal and ugly, it's because you've pulled yourself away from your wholeness and you're staring at it from your nowness and you're like this. And then when you step back, you trust yourself, you change your vantage point, you lean in with your wholeness, and you remember that your source space, God, Goddess, is looking through your eyes, speaking through your mouth, loving through your heart, helping through your hands, hearing through your ears, walking through your feet. You will change your whole world and make the world around you. Allow yourself time with these thoughts. The more focus you give them, the more they will expand for you in your experiences, in your life, in the vibration of what you are. Living water. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for hearing you and for listening. Unending blessings upon you, Divine One. Unending.